means maybe we're live, and I got to go post all the
All
things
right.
before time runs out.
The Art of Mana is streaming. Look at
No,
that.
really? That guy? Come on, doesn't he know that I'm streaming right now?
Don't tell him, but like, I think he's really cool. Don't tell him I
No,
said that though. That's embarrassing.
you know, I don't. I kind of think he is too, but then again, he's kind of full of
You think he's
himself.
cool too?
He's really cocky. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But I hear that he's gonna have a special guest tonight, Essielessie. I heard she's
I've heard
like
that.
rocking.
Yeah, I've heard she's okay. I've heard she's okay.
Wait, I love this. I am like I instantly go for the like he's the best, and you're like, oh, okay.
And I just got an alert in the Manaverse. What is this?
What? Are you serious? No way. Cool.
Way.
Alerts, everybody. Alerts. Bot of Mana actually beat me to it. I always hate when that happens, but that's okay. All right. Oh, there. Yeah, your focus.
Sometimes it doesn't like to focus.
It's true. Okay.
It's okay. We all get those days sometimes.
Yep. All right. All the stuff has been posted. All the socials have been alerted.
Nice.
When did we start calling it all the socials?
When we finally needed a word to just encompass all of them, because I can't say, well, I posted it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Then I also I Snapchatted it, posted it on my stories on both Facebook and Instagram. Put it in Discord, DM'd it to a few people. Also put it in the server.
Right.
You just call it socials these days.
Hey, Kenzie, how's it going? And Lol, hello. Lol says I can hear you both already. Is that normal? It is not normal, but it is intended.
Yeah. There you go. That's right. That's right for you.
Yes. And Dash Magnum, alert. And Hoy, Mictron Gaming, hello. Got a minute left. I am so excited. Okay. Makeup. Got a last minute makeup check.
Oh, wait. Get the extra shine off your face.
Yeah. Hold on. I've got everyone's getting my hair right now. Okay.
I'm saying makeup. I'm wearing PJ pants. Who am I joking?
I might be
sorry. I forgot. This is absolutely this is
professional.
Black tie event.
Maybe those of you who came here early may have to inquire later as to the pajama bottoms that I'm wearing with my suit and tie right now. You know, Kenzie, behind the scenes.
I love you too. I hope you had a great day, Kenzie.
Woo!
Kenzie is actually a friend I know in real life.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
We went to school together.
Very cool. Okay, that game audio is going down because we've got 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live with Essielessie. All right, I'm going to roll that title bump.
Alrighty.
Well, hey yo everyone and welcome. I'm your friend Art of Mana, and let's dive into this 437th stream, I think it was, if I did my maths correctly. 537th. Whoa, I got a little bit behind. Anyway, welcome everyone. I am joined today by our awesome special guest, Essielessie, on the second Isle Mana Live special event. I've said special a lot. I don't even know how to do this yet.
I don't blame you.
It's only my second time, so we're still working out the kinks. I feel like last time I tried to do something where I was like, and tonight, special guest, Essielessie, hailing from the world of cosplay and interested in The Legend of Zelda and all things nerdy. She is a member of Family Friendly Live, where we first met, and tonight, our very special guest and I will be talking about all things streaming, video games, cosplay, and more. And please don't forget to get your questions in the chat so that we can answer them later on tonight. All right. So,
What a beautiful intro.
oh, why, thank you. We get dudded up for these. I forgot my cat ears though, Essie.
We can fix that. We
Oh,
can fix that. I have gifted members of Family Friendly Lives cat ears before, and you can be our honorary third person.
I love this idea so much. And also, I want to just take a moment and recognize that David Kimball came on in with a giant raid. We were just
Oh,
talking about that guy and how awesome he is and how much he's
we
crushing it.
were.
We really were, right before the stream went
Mhm.
live. David and everyone, thank you so much for coming on in. And here's actually a good point where I can mention that I am disabling alerts for the remainder of the stream. I will certainly try to watch for cool events that are coming up and point them out when I get the time to do so. But the focus tonight really is on getting to know our special guest, essielessie, which I'm super pumped about. So, with that said, everybody, I'm also going to mention, oh, one other thing. Dash Magnum, the other mana mods are really all with it and ready to take all of your questions. If you have a good question that you mentioned in chat, then they are going to post it in a special DM from me. So your question, your name will be brought up later on. We'll probably start out with about a half hour of just general chat. And then in the next half hour, we'll have time to answer some of your questions. So please get them in the chat. Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves, even if we don't necessarily immediately get to it. The last half hour of the stream, Essie and I have decided we are going to do a full-on just chatting with you. So be prepared to ask questions, and it'll be just totally live, both of us just chatting and seeing what you've got to say. So, with all of that said, welcome on in, everybody, and essielessie, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Yay! So, Essie, we're kind of getting to know each other mostly, really, because of Family Friendly Live. That's how we first met. And my assumption is that you have been streaming for at least a decade, judging by your professionalism.
At least a decade. Let's see. Back when I was 12, and Twitch was, I don't even know when was Twitch made? 24, 13. I don't even know when Twitch came to be.
To Google's, we'll find this out. I guess, yeah, I could try and take a peek, but I don't know. Something like that.
Something along those
It was
lines.
Justin TV first. I know that. Do you remember that? Did you know that? It started out as a platform for a guy named Justin to live stream his daily goings on. That was all it was. And it was called Justin TV.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually really neat.
Yeah, that was all it was, and then it evolved into what it is today. So, which is kind of cool. But anyways, so how long have you been streaming?
So I did my first stream, I think it was in early 2018. And it was just because I do cosplay and stuff, and I would take my phone and I would set it up and I would stream on Instagram of me building something. Because that's where my main audience was. I had my biggest follower count there. People would come in and stuff. But on Instagram, it's purely video and just chat. You can't do anything more than that. So then I was like, okay, my brother told me that he watches streamers sometimes on Twitch, and I was like, okay, I guess we can see what this is about. And I downloaded the first overlay package theme I could find on Streamlabs and hooked up this webcam I found in a bin.
Wait, really?
And it was just like in a random like box drawer shoved behind the microwave in my house. And it's actually.
Do you even know whose it was?
Oh, it's probably my dad's. He works
Okay.
at Microsoft, so sometimes we have technology around the house. It's still in use. It's used as a cat cam now to stream just my cat. But I've upgraded a little bit since then. So I did that, and I think I streamed Overwatch for my first stream.
Okay.
I would assume. But my computer couldn't handle it. And I remember I put on my Instagram, I posted on the story saying, hey guys, I'm going live. This is my Twitch. This is my first time doing this. And somebody came in and said, I didn't know we were doing a PowerPoint stream because I had like 99% dropped frames. because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh no.
And and he actually spent the entire stream helping me set up. I was like, "Okay, is it better now? Is it better now?" And I would just go live, and I would stop streaming, change a couple settings, go live again. And he was incredibly kind.
Well, that's
No
great.
idea who he was,
Did you
but
ever see him
wherever he
again?
is, no,
Good.
no, I never
Just
did. It's
just a
very kind
random.
though.
That is really kind.
Completely random. Yeah. So my first interaction with Twitch was very good, which I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people's might not be, but mine was really wonderful.
I mean, that sounds like the best you could probably hope for is just somebody who's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, look, this is somebody new. Let me help you out a little bit."
Yeah, especially because I mean, my camera was probably like I would move and it would just be like I was a ghost and like slow and oh, it was probably so bad. Thank goodness I don't have VODs from back then because I wouldn't be able to watch them.
Oh,
And
no.
so I about a year later, this was very on and off streaming of maybe when I felt like it, like once every 2 months.
Mhm.
And then because I had the following from Instagram already, I reached affiliate pretty fast there.
Nice.
I think I reached it in like February of last. No, was it that? I think it was of 2018 or 19. I don't quite remember that actually.
Okay.
Um, but then it was February of this year actually that I decided I want to start sticking to a schedule. And as actually the recommendation of David, who said the consistency on a stream is incredibly important, which I can't believe I didn't actually think of before, and I didn't really realize that having the consistency of people knowing where they can find you each day of the week.
Right. Right.
And so I started that, and from there, I met some wonderful people, and I went to David's stream and I found Family Friendly Live, and then from there I found this entire community of other family friendly streamers.
Yeah, it's worth,
And
but maybe worth mentioning too who David is for anyone who might not
oh,
know.
absolutely.
David V.
He might be
Kimball.
in chat.
Yeah, the guy who rated us. All right, David V.
Yeah, him.
Kimball. Yeah. So, actually, maybe we could get a shout out for him. Some of the Mana mods, if you could help us out, that'd be awesome. So yeah, so and you know him in real life, and so you kind of were able
Yeah.
to talk and figure out how to get going in streaming from that.
Yeah, I really liked the message that Family Friendly Live had of on Twitch, it's hard to find a stream where you would feel comfortable playing the stream out loud in front of your family.
Right.
If you go onto the front page, even scroll through some of the recommended streams, I wouldn't scroll through that with my grandma. And the idea
Yeah.
of being the streamer that somebody could scroll through your page and know for a fact that that it's just going to be content for all ages. And I really, really like that idea. I was really concerned at first because the people I had known in my chat and who had been watching and following me for a while, I hadn't held them to the standards of a family-friendly live stream before. Language in my chat would sometimes be not exactly what I would expect, but hey, it wasn't in the rules, so I can't
Right.
expect to hold it to them.
Yep. Yep.
And so then one day I bit the bullet and I was like, okay, sorry guys, you can't do this in chat anymore. This is a family friendly stream. I'm so sorry.
Did you do it just like that?
And
Please tell me you did it just like that.
oh, there were tears. There
Oh
was
my
no,
gosh, really?
no.
Well, I could see. I mean, that would be nerve wracking to me, to be honest.
But
Right?
at that point, if they don't want to watch me because I
Yeah.
decided that they can't cuss, I don't really want them there.
I mean, that's a fair point too. And yeah, we can kind of get so caught up in the like, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna think? And we're not authentic, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
So I bit the bullet and did that, and the people in my stream were like, yeah, that's okay, no problem. Like, there's no issues here. Like, sorry if we slip
Awesome.
up. I was like, no problem. I got bots and stuff. You can't slip up. And ever since then, it has just been an amazing journey that I really look forward to every week. I
That's
really
awesome.
do look forward to streaming every week now.
So you stream how many times a week? Once?
Only 2 times a week.
Okay,
On
2 times.
Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. PST.
Perfect. At 2 p.m. Pacific time.
That's it.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 days that starts with T. You stream at 2, which starts with T, and that is the mnemonic device that I'm going to use. I don't know. Maybe that'll work for
That
other
actually,
people.
I never realized that. Tuesday at 2
Yeah,
PST and
yeah,
then Thursday at 2 PST. Wow.
it works. And actually,
Wow.
I think that's a great schedule too. I think like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, like those are just such natural rhythms. Like if you're
Yeah,
gonna stream, you might as well, yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
follow those kinds of things. So, but okay, so how long ago was it that you ended up starting doing the family friendly stuff? Like you said that
Oh,
change happened. When was that?
I don't even know. Probably it's not that long. I have not been a part of the
Okay,
team for very long.
okay, but it was
Um,
when you became a part of the team that you announced to the community, hey, new
yeah,
rules.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
April, maybe?
Was that
Maybe it was in April of this
in
year, I
April?
think.
Oh yeah, okay, really recent. Yeah, because you, I
Yeah,
think if I look back, there were only about 2 or 3 people in between your joining and me joining. So
really.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Here, we could. You know what?
Okay, I
Let's.
believe you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull it up. I'm gonna look at this right now for the sake of everybody. We're gonna find out the real answer because everybody could go to familyfriendly.live, and you can also get a link to the Discord there. And if I look under the streamers section, it'll tell you everyone in order. Okay, there's a little more than that. So it's you and Mama Nostra. No, I
Mhm.
never know how to say her name.
I think it's
Um,
no star.
Nostariel, thank you. Jabs FN, bald bearded builder, and then me.
Okay,
So
so yeah.
three.
Huh.
There we go. That's not too shabby.
Wow.
So yeah, it really wasn't that much longer. Yeah, if April, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, so you've been streaming now for a little while. What got you into like that mode of playing games live on stream, chatting with people? What appealed to you about that over sticking primarily to creating content around cosplay and stuff like that?
Um, so my brother, his name is Lucas. He started to he said he wanted to get into streaming, but he didn't want to do it alone. So I was like,
Mm,
okay, I guess I'll do it with you. So when I would stream back in the PowerPoint stream days of all drop frames and all that, um, he would also go live at the same time, and he would just stream. And so he kept up. I was like, oh, maybe I don't really want to stream in. I don't want to stream tonight, or I don't want to do play this certain game today. And he'd be like, are you sure we should stream? And I was like, okay. So he actually pushed me to continue to do it.
okay.
And then when I finally like decided, okay, I don't want to do this any. I said I don't want to do this anymore. And he goes, whatever. I think you should still keep streaming. And I took a very long break. And then I decided, you know what? I'll just start streaming by myself without him going live at the same time. And from there, my stream started growing a little bit more, and I started putting a little bit more effort into how it looked and not just doing default overlays and all that, and
Right.
starting to personalize it a little bit. And he goes, wait, you're not streaming with me anymore? And I felt a little bit bad, but I think it was for the best because I always felt weird talking with somebody while also trying to interact with chat,
Yes.
especially because I had the fortune and the blessing of having the audience that came with me from Instagram. So I was talking
Right.
with people in chat, and he had the typical streaming journey of the zero view count and the
Right.
zero people in chat, and
Yeah.
just having to go through with that. And that is a hard thing to do.
Hmm.
And that's the typical way that people start streaming.
Yeah.
And
Learn how to
so
talk to
I
yourself.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so that was just kind of the what initially kept me going, I guess. I kind of forgot what your initial
Yeah.
question was.
No, it's okay. Well, actually, I don't even care anymore because I have a different question.
Okay.
No, like what you were saying about the fact that it's so hard sometimes to carry out that conversation with another person on stream. Like this was one of my great fears about doing Isle Man Alive, is just
Mhm.
this. Like I know that chat is there, and I'm hoping chat is chatting. I'm
Yeah.
hoping like the mods are interacting. I'm hoping that there's conversation. Like that's the hope. But this is different kind of content. Like I think streaming is so much about opening yourself up to other people and then like getting to grow in relationship with someone else. Like that to me seems like
Yeah.
the thing that you get in this type of content creation versus other kinds of content creation, because the delay in, posting a message on a YouTube video or a
Mhm.
message on an Instagram photo, and then, you actually reading it and then formulating a response, putting a response out there, waiting for that
Mhm.
person to then see that response. Maybe they'll respond or maybe they won't. Like that, that puts so many layers in between a conversation that it often just doesn't really go that far. Where with a
Yeah.
Twitch chat, you just have this conversation. Um,
Mhm.
and when I've had collabs and I've had people join in Discord calls while I'm live, that's one of the hardest things I found, is that piece gets, again, there's a barrier in the way, of just connecting with people and having that immediate sort of response, and being able to chat that way. So like I totally get what you're saying, and it's why I
Yeah.
also make the disclaimer for this. Like, this is a little bit different than my usual content. Like, because we're chatting and that's the focus, is I want
Mhm.
everyone to kind of be able to participate in this and witness us getting to know each other better, live. And hopefully these types of interactions are what happen all the time in our streams.
Yeah. I know. I really like what you're saying there, because even both from our side, where it would be a lot harder to you can't backspace your sentence once you've spoken it.
Yeah,
You can
how
easily
I wish you could.
backspace your actual yeah. You could easily backspace your message and go, maybe I'll word that a little bit differently before hitting send. So at least on our part, that's definitely that's a level of realness that you typically can't get. And as a streamer too, if you ask a question, you kind of immediately just start typing a response as a viewer with
Yep,
not much thought, because it does seem much more like a real conversation than it would in a comment section. Ooh, there's a
totally.
bug.
I saw it. It was. I don't think that was a bug. I think the pterodactyls are coming. It was huge. I don't.
It like flew in front of my light too, so it casted a shadow on my face.
Okay. Oh man. So do we need to evacuate? Like,
Uh, I mean, it's my fault. I have the window open. Um,
like I don't know what to say. Do you
we'll
have
live.
Mario Paint? You remember the Fly Swatter game? Like, that's what you probably don't remember, the Fly Swatter game. Did you ever
I
play
don't.
Mario Paint?
Yeah, I never did.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
okay, never mind. That's a thing for another day. But I've been thinking a lot about Mario Paint these days. I might actually try and stream it one of these days. That was the first time, incidentally, that I learned how to use a mouse. Was with
Really?
Mario Paint. Yeah, because I didn't have a computer before Mario Paint. And now she's like, "How old is Mana?" I
I
wish.
learned how to use a mouse. It was a game called Reader Rabbit.
Oh, there we go. See, learning how to use computers through video
Yep.
games.
Yep.
That I did. That is pretty cool. Tell me about Reader Rabbit.
So I think Reader Rabbit was. I honestly can't even tell you what version of Windows it was for or anything, but I remember this so vividly. It was in the other room. I had just a CD, and I would just put it into the computer, and all I knew how to do on this computer was to launch Reader Rabbit. So, so the little thing that came up that was like, disk drive, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, play, like run. And they had this theme song, and there was just a bunny. It was obviously a knockoff Bugs Bunny,
Okay,
but he taught you how to read.
it
And
works. Now there'd be an
this mini
iPad app
game
for that.
was so fun. And there were some like games on, you could use like different tempos and making music and stuff, and I would play it for hours.
I mean, so
It was
basically, that's
so
Mario
fun.
Paint. I mean, kind of.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
sort of.
that, but less Nintendo
Yeah,
based.
it was edutainment though. Like that's, yeah,
Mhm.
edutainment. Boy,
Exactly.
back in the
That's
day.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I mean, I remember not ever using a mouse until Mario Paint, and what game taught me how to use a mouse was this little bonus stage game hidden thing in Mario Paint, where you have to use the mouse, move it around, and you're a little hand with a fly swatter. And there's all these little gnats
Okay.
and bees and flies and stuff that go on the screen, and there's bosses and stuff like that. And that is how I learned how to use a mouse. It was the first time I ever used it. The game itself came with a little Super Nintendo mouse and a little like plastic mouse pad. Like, I don't even know that you can call it a mouse pad, because it was actually just hard plastic. But yeah, I mean, and this was an old trackball mouse, so it worked pretty well on it. But I still remember thinking it weird when we got our first computer and the mouse pad that came with it was all like that soft neoprene. Like, what is this? It's supposed to have like a sheet of hard plastic that you could, cut yourself on if you were careful,
Yeah, yeah, the best kind, the kinds that you cut yourself on.
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, so speaking of hard plastic that you could cut yourself on,
Say good segue.
so look at that smooth segue. Just could not. I mean, that's how masterful I am. Cosplay. Woo! So actually, here before, let me actually go to a special screen I've got here. I've pulled up before the stream. I pulled up some of your pictures. For those of you who don't know, you probably have already seen it, but over that way, down in the corner, you can see essielessie's socials, all of her accounts and things like that posted. Yeah, exactly, in the doobly doo, and it's got her Instagram showing up right now, so you can see them all. Essie.cosplay and etc. But if you go to essie.cosplay, right? Essie.cosplay. Did I say that right? Yes, on Instagram, you can see some of these cool things. Here we go. We're gonna show this. So on here right now on the screen, you with the Princess Mononoke, I believe it was. Yep.
So
Here's the most recent, something that you made out of foam, the Majora's Mask, which I thought was awesome. We got like a Hylian soldier, Zelda, or Link. I just said Zelda. Oh my gosh.
oh wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to root for your gamer card. I'm sorry
I
about
know, I
that.
know. I don't know why. That's just like my brain. It hurts. Actually, I might have to stop the stream, everybody. Of course, I had to get a little Animal Crossing one in here. I love this. Did you make that custom outfit in Animal Crossing?
It's actually a custom outfit that I already like had in real life, and I was like, oh
Oh,
sweet, this is gonna be great.
perfect. And of course, your Wario, which I think is
Gloria, that was actually for Halloween.
that's
Believe it or not, cosplayers actually
fantastic.
dress up for Halloween.
Really,
I know, right?
I would not have pegged you as a Halloween. No, that's no. I think that one just I went through and I kind of picked out some of my favorites. That one I think I like because like all the really fancy, elaborate set pieces that you've got, like the one we're looking at now. I mean, it's just like wow, oh my gosh! And then there's like the selfie of you as Wario, and it's just like that to me is like
The duality of cosplay.
yeah, I love it. So, but yeah. So when did you get into cosplay and how? I don't know this, by the way. I'm really curious. So,
Okay, so I got into cosplay. Let's see. It was, I think, actually, okay, let me show over here. I have an entire wall of every single badge
ooh,
of a convention I've been to. So
okay.
let me see over here. I have, okay, so it looks like 2014 Emerald City Comic Con was my very first
Oh
one.
yes, Emerald City Comic
So,
Con. Nice.
and I was going to, it was a 3-day badge, so it was a Friday, and it was actually for one of my birthdays. I got tickets because my birthday is actually really, it's typically really close to Emerald City Comic Con. So I got a badge to go to this convention, and I had 2 of my close friends come with me, and one of their moms drove us. So we all get into this van, and we go up to Seattle, park, go inside, and I was just awestruck. I was like, look at all these nerds. What is this? And
My
I remember
people.
going exactly, and I remember going through like the artist alley and all the merchandise halls and being like, I watched this show and there's merchandise of it. What? And I was just awestruck. And I also saw these people dressing up in costumes. And I was like, that's really cool too. And I had always been a huge costume nerd. Every musical I've ever been into, my absolute favorite part is like getting fitted for my costumes.
Okay.
And Halloween was like the highlight of my year. So I was like, these
Nice.
people are wearing this like on a random day at a convention. You're allowed to
I
do
can
that.
do
That's
this other
awesome.
times. Nice. Yeah.
So I was awestruck by that. So I went home that night after Comic-Con and I was like, okay, I'm going again tomorrow. What can I do? What can I wear?
Nice.
And so I threw together I got like popsicle sticks, pencils, and hot glue. I glued them on a headband and I made antlers. And I did a face paint and I was a deer. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm going to be a deer tomorrow.
That's
So my friend's
amazing.
mom comes to pick me up. And I walk out of the house and I'm just a deer.
With popsicle sticks.
Yeah, just like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna have so much fun. So I go to the convention, and my friends are just kind of looking at me weird, like, okay, Esther, I guess this is what you wanted to do, and I'm just thriving. I'm like, this
That's
is the
amazing.
coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh.
And I get to the convention, and immediately someone's like, oh, that's a really cute cosplay, and I was like, oh, thank you. And another person's like, oh, that's really cute. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And my friends are just kind of like, I wish I dressed up. And I was like, ha, that's right. That's right.
That's
And I remember I
amazing.
walked by this one girl who was also dressed up as a deer. And she goes, oh, do you go to FawnCon? And I was like, FawnCon?
There's a convention.
FawnCon? That moment that I realized I got to start preparing for next year.
That's amazing.
So I finished up that year of Comic-Con and I was like, okay, what's an easy cosplay I can do? So I was really a fan of Studio Ghibli or however the correct way to
I've
say
never
it
known,
is.
but yes.
And so I was like, oh, Princess Mononoke. I really, really love that
Nice.
character. I think that could be a really fun one to do. So
Nice.
I started teaching myself to sew. I got a whole bunch of like
What?
fake fur because she's a
So you didn't know
she
it
wears like
before. Like you didn't know how to sew. You didn't know how. Like this was totally a new
very
thing.
minimal.
So
Very
the
minimal.
whole incentive was like, I like this. It's cool. I saw it once. I'm gonna do this. With like
It wasn't, I'm
no.
gonna do this. I want to be that.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you had to
So
start from scratch.
yeah, pretty much. I've always been a very crafty, work with my hands kind of person, so it worked pretty well.
Right.
But a lot of it was just learning and just trying things out.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, because cosplay, as of recent, I'd say from 2017 to now 2020, has blown up.
Okay.
It's gotten people actually know
Really?
what cosplay is when you say cosplay now.
Interesting. In just the last couple of
Yeah.
years.
Significantly, it's gotten significantly bigger.
That
I'd
makes
say.
sense. Yeah. I mean, it's and it's more maybe even mainstream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before, when I would say I like to cosplay, people would go, huh? But now people go, oh, cool.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
people actually understand what it is now.
Right.
It's
right.
not just me saying, well, I like to dress up and go to conventions. Typically, I would have to describe it as, oh, well, you know how people kind of dress up for Renaissance fairs and stuff? That's how I would go
Oh,
about explaining it. But
Okay.
people just know what it is.
Nice.
It's really neat, yeah.
Mhm.
So I started preparing for that. I started just sewing and just figuring out how you make a custom garment for yourself and how to make things that are 2D on a screen that's animated.
Right.
How do you convert that to something that looks real? How do you choose the right fabric that would be believable for that
Right.
and make
Right.
it look real? It's a lot more intensive than you would think. Some armor in a video game, it looks awesome, but how do you convert that to something you can actually wear and move in real life?
Not to mention that a lot of times this is drawing from something that was maybe done originally in 2D.
Yeah,
So then you have to think,
absolutely.
what does this even look like in 3 dimensions?
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even get to see the back of them.
Right,
Sometimes
yeah.
you're just for fun.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, and sometimes the only references sometimes you get are other people's cosplays.
Right. Oh, interesting. So then do you start seeing iterations? People will say like, "Oh, this is the new standard" because they've looked and they've decided this is really cool. But then like the next person goes, "I'm going to take it the next level." Nice.
Absolutely. So after Princess Mononoke, I decided I wanted to do a Sheik cosplay from The Legend of Zelda.
Right.
And
The Legend of Link, I think, right? Zelda's the main
okay,
character and Link is the princess. Yeah, okay.
got it. And I was looking at all these reference photos and I was like, how in the world do you make that? But then I decided to look up Sheik cosplay. And I found somebody who had done the exact same version of Sheik I wanted to do. I wanted to do the Smash Bros. Melee version of Sheik.
Oh, okay.
And so I looked that up and I was like, okay, she did this. Now I can actually, it's a tangible thing. I
Right.
can see what it actually looks like and what pieces are separate because it's just on a character, it's just a texture.
Right. Right.
But on a person, you get to see each individual layer of that costume that would be going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Um,
The
so I messaged
bandages, the
her and
wraps, the things like that. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So I messaged her and I was like, "Can you please just help me?" And so there after that, my goal was, okay, so she was the reference. I want to
Mhm.
be references for other people.
Okay.
I want to be the first one to do a specific cosplay so that people come to me and ask me for help.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
And so that cosplay was phenomenal. I had so much fun. I went to that year's Comic-Con and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm an official cosplayer now. This is very, very fun. And that's when I also learned about the opportunities that cosplay can give you.
Mm.
I was just walking through the convention hall and I had like a person from IGN come and interview me. We did a photo
Oh,
shoot. I
wow.
had a few people from like GameSpot come up, and we
Gosh.
just would talk. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is an actual thing that people report on, and I could actually get my name
Right.
out there.
Nice.
Mhm. So I started to kind of have that as not a goal, but it was in the back of my mind of okay, if I do something bigger and better, I could go places with this.
Ooh.
Um, and I will never forget the day. It was March 3rd of 2017,
Okay.
I think. Oh no, 20 2018. It was 2018.
Okay.
And, Overwatch had released a new character called Brigitte,
Hmm.
and I looked at her and I was like, "That's me." Like,
Nice.
they made a character that looks like me.
Nice.
I feel like I am required to cosplay this.
That's
And I
awesome.
had never worked with so the product that a lot of cosplayers use is called EVA foam. It's just varying thicknesses of foam that they use to make armor. So if you ever see somebody wearing a big suit of armor, it probably weighs like less than a pound, the entire suit of armor.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
And so I was like, this is really scary, but this character has a huge set of armor. But I was determined. So that March, I decided to start making pattern pieces, and I wanted to document the entire making of this costume.
Okay.
That's also why one of the reasons I made my Instagram, to document the process and all my
Oh,
photos of
nice.
me building the cosplays.
Hmm.
And more and more people started to join me for the journey of like seeing it come together, whereas it's a template. Now I've made it out of the actual material. Now I've primed it. Now I've painted it. Now I'm wearing it. Now I have professional photos done.
Right.
It's a really fun journey to see it
Yeah.
being made.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
So
so
I
cool.
did that, and it was so much fun. It
That's
was
amazing.
just a blast. It
And
was so much fun.
and that must have been one of the first. I mean, surely people in the cosplay world also thought, "Hey, I'm going to go as that character." But
Mhm.
you were probably amongst the very first group of people to
Yep.
cosplay that character.
There was because I actually started building it before she even came out. I
Oh,
just
okay.
started working off of the advertisements
Oh,
in
okay.
the trailers that Overwatch that Blizzard had released. So there's a lot of inaccuracies in it
Hmm.
from my perspective, whereas I can actually see like, oh, I did that wrong. No common person would actually see that.
But you wouldn't have even seen the
Um,
model at that point. I mean, you would
yeah,
have
no,
wouldn't have
I
not in the
turned around the model
game,
yet.
right? Like you would have
Mhm.
you saw
I
promotional
just had
materials,
screenshots. Yeah,
maybe a video, and then like, oh, okay. Oh my gosh, wow,
because I wanted to be the first so
right?
badly.
But and you were in that you were documenting it. I mean, you were the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few
Oh,
people
that's so cool.
finished before me,
Okay.
but I had the end goal of I was gonna wear this to PAX West in
Okay.
Seattle that year.
Gotcha.
So some people had it done for conventions before me, and they got to wear it before me. I had it done,
Right.
but that was where I was gonna debut mine.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, I posted one of my first progress photos on Reddit,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Blew up.
blew up.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
blew up.
Because we've got an all-star here, everybody. I just want you all to know in chat, like this is like we've got a famous person here. Like,
Oh, no.
no, when I start like when I put in your name to get to nab a few photos for the stream, and like the first thing I see is like a Reddit with like a quadrillion bajillion people that are like commenting on it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a big deal. Yeah.
I posted that photo before work one morning, And I just put my phone down and I went throughout the workday and I went back about 4 or 5 hours later and I saw thousands of
Yeah.
notifications.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
was like, oh
What was
no.
Wait, what was your
Oh
thought? Oh, you
no.
know what? Hold that thought. I want to know your
Huh?
thought, but let's take a break. We're going to build some suspense here. And we're going to
Okay.
come back to that because I want to know your thought on going back and seeing 1,000 comments. But yeah, we're going to take a short break, everybody. I think I can't remember if I did this last time, but I'm gonna even go ahead. I'm gonna put it on the standby. I'm gonna even roll a 60-second ad break while we do it, and that way, if Essie, if you need to get some water or whatever, and get up in the game, wander around, maybe play the keyboard if you feel like it. All right, we're gonna put this on standby, and everybody, we'll be right back. 60 seconds. Okay. Oh my gosh, Essie, this is going so well.
I'm so happy. I'm having a lot of fun.
I
Actually, I
am
am gonna
too.
grab water fast.
Okay, good. I'm gonna check the messages that we got here. All right. Oh boy, we got some good ones here. We have some great questions. Oh, I can't wait to get to these. I wonder what she's gonna say. All right. 30 seconds left. Oh, hey, Hamabe boy.
Sorry, were you saying something?
Oh no, I'm just looking up in chat. Oh my gosh, we've got. I'm so glad everybody has been chatting and stuff because it's actually been so much. Here, I'm gonna go. I'll bring this back on.
Oh,
Are you ready?
looks like we're dropping some frames apparently.
Are we dropping some frames?
Looking like chat's saying that.
Oh, when was that?
Ah.
Oh yeah, I see that. David Kimball's saying that there. Oh boy, oh boy. Maybe it was because I was doing some stuff. Let's get back here. Okay, we'll give that.
Oh, good.
So we're back. We'll see. I think hopefully we're good here. I do need to work on some because I have so much stuff open right now, and and I'm probably due for an upgrade here in the near future. But hey, real quickly, I want to thank Hamabe Boy for that 5-month resub. Thank you, Hamabe Boy. And thanks for the hosts, everybody, as well. And of course, thank you again, David, for that raid. And I see you're off camera. There, just wandering around aimlessly. Before we get into that, we're gonna leave that question hanging for a moment. What's that emote for? I'm gonna throw one out there too. Bashfulness. So I was just checking and seeing. We've got some fantastic questions here. So, I don't think we're dropping frames now. So hopefully, if people can confirm, that would be fantastic. And if the Mana Mods wouldn't mind helping me out with that as well, that'd be fantastic. But let's see. Let's go here. We've got our first question, which is from David V. Kimball. What is the most favorite cosplay you have worked on?
I would say that would be my Monster Hunter build. I can drop a photo of that in chat if you would like.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I'll go do that.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to make. I had just never really made anything like it, especially because the weapon on it. I'd personally never played Monster Hunter, but I was invited to a Monster Hunter Armor cosplay group, and so couldn't pass up that opportunity. So I went ahead and built like a 5-foot sword, and it was so much fun. Oh, David's already got me. Aw.
There you go. Awesome.
Oh, David, thank you so much. So that was my
Fantastic.
favorite one. And yeah, that
I
by far was my most fun to wear.
I know we've got a lot of Monster Hunter fans, so I'm imagining that they're pretty excited to hear
Really?
that. And oh yeah, like definitely, we got a lot of friends of Mana who are friends are fans of Monster Hunter. So, are you a fan of the game then? I presume, or just you like the character design so much? You're about to tell me
So
you've never played the game.
okay, I have never played the game. Um, but the first time I played the game, I was
Okay.
in this cosplay, and I was
Okay.
at PAX West, and the people from Monster Hunter were like, "Hey, can we get some pictures of you playing the game?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Nice.
So I'm sitting there, not knowing how to play this game, wearing an actual suit of armor from the game, and I mean,
Oh
I could go off an
no.
entire tangent about the things that this costume has led me to, but it
That's just hilarious.
the game seems the game seems
I'm just imagining like the look of horror on their faces when they realize you have no clue what you're doing in the game.
okay, I just saw a screen, I saw the palicos, and I saw the cat, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm just gonna personalize this cat. That's all I'm gonna do." That's what I'm doing. And the promo photos are still out there,
Yeah.
and you can just see me like deer in the headlights, not knowing what to
do,
do.
do I push this button?
Yeah, and it was
Oh.
console too. So,
Oh my
like, I had a
gosh.
controller in my hand, and I was like, "I don't know how to do this." Yeah,
So great. I love that. Well, so there's a couple of questions here. We got a lot of questions about cosplay, so I can tell people are
okay,
pumped about cosplay. So I have a
okay,
feeling we're definitely going to revisit or spend a lot of our time, remaining time, focused on cosplay.
okay. Sounds good.
But I want to just go back once because there's one really good question here that's
Mhm.
pertaining more to streaming. And this is from Jack Locks 2 Plays, who says, Essie, so far, what has been your most interesting, no, excuse me, what has been your most inspiring Twitch stream that you wish you could relive because of how heartfelt it was?
Of mine?
I don't know that Jack doesn't qualify this question. I think it could be a stream that you participated in. I think maybe that the intent was for one of yours, but I don't know.
If there's a streamer, I I guess if there's a streamer that was incredibly inspiring and a person I aspire to be more like, that would absolutely be he's actually another member of the Family Friendly Live team. That would be Instafluff. I want to be more like him and his stream. Just he has the most warm, welcoming
Mm-hmm.
community, and turning on his stream is like putting on a warm sweater and drinking apple cider. And I
Oh,
want that.
nice.
I want people to feel that when they're on my stream. So if that was kind of your question, that would be that's just where I feel like I want to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But of my own streams,
Shout outs for Instafluff, please.
honestly, like he's incredible. Um, but one of the first times I felt a very like warm sense of community on my stream was actually I was this was like before I started having a schedule or anything like that, but I was playing Scribble. Like it was an online Pictionary game
Okay.
um with my brother. And I needed some people to play. So I actually DM'd David Kimball, who's in chat, and I said, "Hey, I need some people to play with on stream. Could you come and play with me on stream?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem." Little did I know he went into his Discord community and was like, "Everybody, right now, go to this girl's stream." And people came in and played with me, and it was the first sense of community and the biggest viewership I had had up to that point too. And that was just that was a pivotal moment for me, absolutely, in what I would consider my streaming career.
Ah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sorry, I was a little distracted there because streaming. How fun is streaming? I was trying to close a few things as I was taxing my CPU too hard, and so we're dropping all kinds of frames. So,
Oh
anyways,
no.
yeah, but I think we're on the way to to having that solved here
Okay,
shortly. Um, maybe. What are we missing
no
here?
problem. I can talk for hours if you need to work on things. Just ask me one question and I can go off.
Well, we definitely. Let's see. Oh, we are taxed out on that. Hold on a second. Let's pop this down. We're getting there. Hold on. We're almost there.
No problem.
Okay, we'll close that too. Okay. Boom. If anyone could just confirm really quickly that we got this all sorted, I think we did. But whew. Okay. But yeah, no. I mean, I think we talked about this before at some point. But those kinds of welcome streams, those times where like people just are showing this outpouring of support. How cool are those? That's just amazing.
It's honestly, without them, there's no stream.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't realize how much of an impact they have when they just turn on a stream.
Right.
Whether or not you type, literally just having another number too can mean a world of difference to the streamer.
Yeah. Okay, so someone asked me one time, they said, I'm having a really hard time because obviously that's the goal. It's those kinds of interactions. We've been talking about that. But they said, right now I'm streaming for nobody. Like I'm trying to get started and there's nobody there, and like what do I do? And in a moment of insight and clarity, I realized something about myself is that when, people have been more quiet or chat's been lagging or whatever, or there just haven't been that many people around, I take the approach of looking at this like I'm vlogging. I'm sharing, I'm sharing my life for record because I keep on my VODs. So I think of it like a personal goal, a personal thing, and that's what kind of keeps me continuing it and motivated. But
Look at it.
like if I didn't, I think I would just get so caught up in that feeling of, oh my gosh, why isn't this working? But instead
Yeah,
I flip it
absolutely.
and I think like, no, like I get to think of it like, what is the content I want to make just for myself? And that way, even though that other person is yourself in this scenario, like the person you're doing it for becomes yourself, like you still have that connection or that feeling of like, this is my future self. It's the same reason I write a letter in Animal Crossing to myself and date it for like 3 months in the future, right? It's just cool.
Yeah,
It's like a time capsule.
that's that's a really good way to look at it. I've never thought of it like that.
So for anyone out there who's struggling with streaming and low numbers or whatever they're feeling, there you go. It's a tip from Mana. But I don't think anyone wants to know. Well, there's one more streamer question. Okay, I'll throw this out there. One more streamer question, then we'll go back to cosplay. This one, I want you to give an honest answer. Don't hold back. I feel like this is really open ended. But this is a question from Donald Kimball, or Kimball Donald, otherwise known as. Who's your favorite streamer and why is it Kimball Donald? That's the question. I think that says
Donnie?
it all.
Don. I'm not going to call you Kimball Donald. I'm going to call you Donnie, okay?
That look.
You stream once a week. Do you really think you get that role as the greatest streamer of all time for me? I'm going to need more Donnie content before I can consider you my favorite streamer.
Whoa, she just threw down the gauntlet.
Come on.
I mean, not the answer I expected, but issuing a challenge. We want more. Kimball Donald. I like this.
I'm going to let my Animal Crossing character emote what I'm feeling right now, okay?
I am shocked at the outcome of this. Fantastic. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go back to some. I want to build up to that moment when you realized that you had
Okay,
1,000.
sounds
Okay.
good.
But I want to go back to this. This is a question from Twitchy Berry, and I think this is probably one we should have asked a long time ago. And it's essentially, how do you define cosplay? Please define cosplay. Is it just making/wearing costumes? Does it involve staged or improvised acting?
I think cosplay is the simple fact of a person wearing a costume.
Okay.
It originated and play, literally playing, costume play, but it is kind of evolved where it's no longer, you no longer have to act in character. There still are a lot of people who do that, but it's, I'd say, the minority.
Okay.
But
So-
I think it's just people dressing up.
So going back to like what you said with the Renaissance Fair, I mean, that would have been, to an extent, you'd have a character, like you would act out that character, but you wouldn't necessarily make it like a stage performance. Like it wasn't about being a character for a plot and stuff like that. It was more about the environment, right?
At Renaissance fairs, I'd say it's much more acceptable, and a lot of, I'd say, majority do play in character. Whereas at a convention, a minority playing character.
Okay.
At Renaissance fairs, if you know what LARPing is, it
Right.
stands for live action role play. And at a
Yes.
Renaissance fair, it is basically you are your character. It's just kind of a fact of if you dress up, if you're a fairy, people expect you to frolic around and
Hmm.
blow bubbles. If you're an orc, people expect you to yell and be mad and eating an entire like huge turkey leg the size of your face. It's just the cultures
Okay.
between a convention and a Renaissance fair are entirely different.
But see, I would have thought, and maybe I've only I've been to both a couple of times,
Uh-huh.
but I would have thought, that I guess it depends on the costume maybe for cosplay, but I've met a lot of cosplayers who do go to that level. Like it's not necessarily like it's if they were Master Chief from Halo, they're gonna walk
Mhm.
around stoic and they're gonna kind of like wield their blaster and like
That for me comes with part of the costume. You can't be dressed
right.
as Superman and be slouching over.
Yeah,
Like, it just is part of it.
right.
How can you not feel
You gotta be
powerful while wearing
"Grr."
while
Right,
wearing a suit of armor?
right.
But I've noticed at least at the conventions I've been at, this can definitely change from convention to convention, that at anime conventions, typically there's a younger audience, and those people typically play in character a bit more. At,
Okay.
uh, Emerald City Comic Con, a more generalized, just, uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Geek
what's
fair.
trending? That's more of a common convention for anything.
Right.
It's not just comics, it's anything TV, old nerd culture, current nerd. Some of it's not
Yeah.
even nerd culture anymore.
What
Um,
does it even mean? Yeah, yeah.
exactly. I'd say that less people act in character there, but there's always the few that do and that go all out. And they're
Right.
always a blast to look
Right.
at.
So maybe it's fair to say that because the setting is a little bit different, it's kind of up to the individual. It's just
Absolutely.
yeah.
I don't think that defines that. I don't think that makes or
Okay.
breaks calling you a cosplayer or not, though.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. That's good insight and something I learned today. The more you know. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well let's get to a few more of these questions on cosplay here. So, um here we are. Uh well no, let's go to this. We already Chrono had asked what got you started in cosplay. We've already covered that. Um with all these conventions that you've been to, Essie, this is from Jacklocks 2 Plays. Which convention had the best interactions between cosplayers and non-cosplayers, and who was your favorite person to meet?
Oh, wow. What a phenomenal question.
Hmm.
Best interactions between cosplayers and non-cosplayers. Um, I don't think I can. If we're narrowing it down to a convention that has had the best interactions, I would say the anime conventions I've been to specifically, there's SakuraCon. That one has had the best interaction because it's such a it's the most welcoming and everybody there knows that they're there for the same reason, just to dress up and be total nerds. So
Right.
the people who didn't dress up are in awe of the people who did, and the people who are dressing up look at the people who are just not dressed up and go like, they like the same things as me. So there's no
Okay.
disconnect, and that was really
Yeah.
fun.
Because it's a more
Um,
focused convention,
yeah.
maybe? Okay.
I'm not even a huge fan of anime.
Okay.
I just went there for the dressing up and the cosplay and just because a lot of my friends were going.
Right.
And that was, yeah, I would say that that's the most just. It's a wholesome, cringy environment.
Wholesome, cringy environment. That may just be the perfect thing to wholesome, cringy environment. But I know what you mean. I totally
Yeah.
yeah, I totally get what you mean. So would you say that the conventions you've been to that you interact with people from the big organizations, like you mentioned, I think you said IGN and GameSpot and some of the big news outlets, were those typically interactions that you felt were from genuine fans interested in reporting on this, or was it or was there that maybe a little cynicism sneaking in? Was it kind of like, hey, here's a article that we can write, and the person's done all the work for us. We just have to snap a photo and write an article. Like, I hope I don't want
Have
that to sound
No,
bad,
I
but
completely get what you
yeah, yeah.
um, there's both. I
Okay.
have absolutely just been like, "Hey, can I go to quick photo? I'm with IGN." "Oh, yeah,
Right.
sure." Snap a photo. Sweet. I see it later online. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I guess that was cool." But then there's also the people who, um they're called, like, cosplay videographers. They make
Okay.
cosplay music videos. So basically,
Oh,
it
okay.
sums up a convention in a really pretty cinematic way to music and stuff.
Right. I've seen that.
Um, yeah, and those people, I've noticed, seem to have more of a passion for their work.
Okay.
And when you get asked by those people, I personally feel more flattered because they're actually putting effort into this project and not just uploading a photo. Not to say that the people who
Yeah.
do take photos aren't putting effort into it,
Right.
but
It's
having
another
the
level.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a good dose of both of them. I feel
Yeah.
people just looking to make an article and to work off of the press that a big convention that a lot of people are currently searching is going to get them,
Right.
and people who actually have a passion for what they're documenting.
And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here. Like, that question came to my mind because of what Jack was asking about with like those interactions, and I'm just thinking,
No,
yeah,
yeah,
like there's got to be that tension because there's definitely people for whom this is a job where there's probably a little interest, and and then there are those people like you said. I hadn't thought about the videographers that are like, I am actually adding to this art form and
and
trying
you'd
to,
hope that the companies would send people who are actually passionate
right?
to the convention, um, that are
Maybe,
actually
maybe not.
interested. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You'd hope.
Right. That would be nice. That would be nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, let's go to this question here. This is an interesting one. So, uh, it's funny because I feel like we're getting some really good um, mix of people who are asking questions, and yet I keep wanting to ask a Jack Locks question. So actually, I'm going to skip here. I'm going to do this question. This is from David V. Kimball, who says, Esther, your chic looks more like the Brawl one / Twilight Princess concept art one. Is that what you meant?
Did I not say brawl?
I think you said melee.
It's worked off the brawl concept.
Okay, cool.
It's off the brawl concept.
So there we go. We've got David Kimball keeping you
There's
honest.
yes, the melee one is a more suit. It's like a skin tight suit, whereas
Yeah.
the brawl one has actual 3-dimensional armor on it.
Gotcha.
That's the melee one.
So this is good. This is really good. Now here's one from Mr. H, Mr_H_1217, who asks, "What is your favorite cosplay?"
That would my favorite cosplay. That would be the Monster Hunter one.
The Monster Hunter one. That was. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
You did actually mention that, but
Mhm.
we've already established that I'm old, so I forget things like that. By the way, who are you again? I don't remember. Okay, so here, this is a great one. This is from our Manamod-Magnum, who asks, if, like John Hammond, you could spare no expense. You get the reference? Okay, good. What would be your dream cosplay?
Okay. The amount of hours I have thought about this. So I can't tell you a specific character, but I could tell you what it would include. I have always wanted to work with. There are these small like motors you can buy that I forgot the name of them, but basically there's just a little box of a motor and a pole that can go out and it moves and they're remote controlled. And I desperately have always wanted to make a huge pair of like Valkyrie wings that actually expand and can retract.
Okay, yeah.
They exist. People make them all the time, but they're expensive.
Valkyrie
I just think it'd be
wings
so
that just...
fun to work and try to make a pair of wings.
That's
And I've seen people at
awesome.
conventions who have like 15-foot wingspans.
Yeah.
And it is just what?
That's okay. That is cool. But so is Valkyrie? Is that from Overwatch? Is that, or are we talking about like a Valkyrie?
Like Valkyrie, like the
Okay,
old
like the armor with
Nordic.
the Nord. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure because isn't there a
Basically,
character in Overwatch that does that?
there's there is a few characters that have like wings in it in
Okay, then
Overwatch. Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
I think where my mind went. But you're just talking about like in general.
I'm just talking about big old angel wings.
You just want wings, is what you're telling me.
I couldn't care. I just want wings.
Okay, I mean, what like flying monkey, like Wizard of Oz flying monkey?
Not exactly,
Okay,
but I stand behind what I said.
okay, just like hey, if it gets me the wings, darn it. All right. Well, believe it or not, that an hour has already gone by. Can you believe it?
Seriously?
I know. Can you
Wow.
believe that? I mean, I feel like we still got hours and hours and hours left that we could chat. So with that hour having gone by, it's perfect opportunity for yet another break. And then the next question is going to be, what was it like when you first saw thousands of notifications? All right, we're hyping this up and building it up so much that it better be a good story, or else I don't know if you're going to make it back on the show. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on standby here, and we're going to run another 1 minute ad break. Thank you, everybody. By the way, in case you don't know, those 60-second ad breaks do mean that new people coming in do not have to watch the pre-roll ad, as I have that disabled. And there we go. Thank you for everyone who's subbed and who can actually hear us right now. Appreciate that. Yeah. Do you need to refill your water or anything, Essie?
I think I'm doing okay.
Cool. I'm going to fill my water up. I actually brought a cup out here that kind of matches the green cup that's on the table in front of me.
Oh, nice.
But now I'm filling that cup with my water bottle because
Looks more official drinking out of a mug.
it does. It does. All right. We spare no expense. That was great. I love that. 20 seconds left. Man, this is so fun. I really do feel like we could just go all the time.
Oh yeah, I could talk hours about this kind of stuff, especially because I've had such uh I haven't been able to go to a convention in so long, so I want to spill out
Hey, good
all my
night, Mike
knowledge.
Tron, by the way. Good night. Okay, and we are back. And let's switch over to this scene here. Really quickly, I'm going to just go back and do the old shout-outs kind of thing. Yeah. So I want to thank Quinshawn, I think it is, for the follow. I missed that earlier. So thank you so much for following the Friends of Mana and joining us here. By the way, if anyone is new around here, I am Art of Mana. This channel is mostly focused on Animal Crossing, and this is something that we're doing every so often that is focused on getting to know new people and just connecting with members of the community. My guest is essielessie, a member of Family Friendly Live, our stream team, and a cosplayer extraordinaire, as well as a streamer of a couple of years. And we are about to go back into talking about cosplay and what it's like when suddenly you open up your phone in the morning and there is a triple-digit number of notifications. What was that like?
So I was still on shift, and I remember going on my phone because there was a customer outside, and I opened it up, and first off, I saw that I had a Facebook message from my cousin who I hadn't talked to in years, and he said, "Esther, did I just see you on the front page of Reddit?" And I didn't know how to answer because I didn't know I was on the front page of Reddit. And then I got a message from my brother and my other brother, who are both avid Redditors. And then I saw my photo and I was like, okay, scroll through these comments. And I feel very blessed that I have never been a person where online comments bug me.
Mm.
I feel very fortunate that doesn't affect me. I'd say to a degree. I mean, seeing constant negativity about yourself, it has to affect you in some way.
Right.
But it truly does not get to me deep down, I feel. So I scrolled through those and tons of wonderful, amazing comments, and but then there's always the few negative ones, and this was my first like real people critiquing my cosplay. And keep in mind, I made this before the character came out,
Oh, right,
so
right.
there some people,
Yeah.
most people didn't see the inaccuracies, but some people really, really wanted to tell me that I painted that the wrong color yellow. Or there's a stitch missing on this one specific part of this one specific cosplay.
Wow.
Um, so there was a lot of joy, but there was also a lot of, hmm, so this is what it's like.
Like, I've made it. Oh.
Uh, yeah,
uh, uh,
oh, sweet, this is what it's like.
oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And I can just imagine, like the one person that's like, actually, that's hex code 6643223, and you use hashtag 43323332. Like,
I'd say the biggest thing that gets on my nerves is people that feel like they can't compliment me and my work
mhm.
without putting other people down.
Oh.
The amount of comments of "Wow, this looks so much better than this other person," yada yada yada, or like, "Wow, you're way better than." There's a lot of in cosplay. There's a lot of revealing. There's a lot of revealing cosplays, and a
Mm,
lot of people feel like that's the cheap way out, the easy way out is
mhm,
people who
mhm.
make suits of armor, but are typically a little bit more revealing. Think of like when you play WoW or a lot of old MMORPGs,
Right.
the women's armor in those games are just typically a little bit more revealing than an actual person's suit of armor would
There's
be.
legitimately in Secret of Mana, on like I guess middle tier armor, like the boy character goes out there and it's like suddenly he gets like a ninja suit and it's like all leather with spikes, and then the girl gets the tiger bikini, like no joke, right?
I'm like, oh man, you put in way more effort than her. It's like, well, she's actually really accurate to the character. There's just not a lot to that
Right.
costume.
Yeah. I like
So
I
it's
I went to
the
the
amount.
fabric store and bought this much. And
Exactly. If anything, she didn't use coupons, she saved money doing that cosplay. She put just as much work as me in the accuracy
right?
department, but
Yeah.
character just has a lot of skin, okay?
Yeah. There's not a lot you gotta add. It's more about it's the yeah,
Exactly.
it's the editing. It's
Custom
the editing.
the amount of comments that were like, "Finally, a woman cosplayer who doesn't show off her body for likes," or "A woman cosplayer,
Mm,
you're not like the other girls." The amount of
hmm.
times I was called a unicorn and a snowflake, and I was just like, "This is wrong. I don't like this at
Yeah.
all." Because this armor was practical. Like,
Yeah.
you could actually wear that to battle, which is very uncommon for
Right.
women characters in games. So people took that and complimented me, not the game designers for
Mm,
designing real armor, but
right.
me by putting down other women who decided to choose to cosplay more risque armor sets.
Interesting.
And that really, really started to bother me.
Which you bring up
Um,
a great point too is, lest we forget, if you are cosplaying characters and the culture around actually character creation is predominantly portraying women a certain way, and then for you to blame the cosplayers seems a little bit um backwards, if to say the
it
least.
absolutely,
Right.
especially when you think about the fact that most of these people designing games, the main demographic for these games are typically men. The people
Mhm.
who are designing these games are typically men. So it's men designing for a majority male demographic. So then when you think about it in full circle, when a woman finally cosplays that character from a game designed by a man meant for men, and then when a woman finally dresses up like that, they're like, oh, woman dressing up like that. It's like, but you kind of
Oh
made that
man,
happen.
that's like going back to the old days. I mean, I remember legitimately a letter in Nintendo Power way back when. This was an early Nintendo Power, where someone was talking about, like, well, actually, my sister plays video games, and everyone was like, what?
Yep.
losing their minds. She plays a video game. She actually uses the controller with both hands. She doesn't just
You mean
look
you
at
actually get the controller? You just hand it to her and let her play?
it. Right? You don't have to coach her. Like, people just losing their minds because it is it's a world that at that time, as you said, male dominated.
Yep.
Interesting. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
almost hearing that, like, the trickle down of all of this to the world of cosplay.
Well, you say back then, but I would say I posted something on Reddit just last week,
Hmm.
and I got multiple comments saying, like, you didn't make that. Your boyfriend made that for you, and now you're just getting points for it. Or
Wow.
the wow, you're a woman
Wow.
and you play video games? Wow. And just like finally a woman that plays video games.
Wow.
If anything, that just proves to me that you don't talk to a lot of women. Because a lot of women play video games.
That just wow.
It happens
Wow.
so much more often than people like to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, like most things, I suppose, we like to think that it's better than it is. But
And I would say since back then it is better than it
right.
is.
Right.
I
Or
can
better than it
I can finally
was.
walk
But
to the shop and people won't be like, like, did your brother get you into video games? Or like, are you sure you want this game
are
that
you
has
looking for
guns
something
in
for your
it?
brother?
Here's Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
It's no it's not to that degree anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still relevant, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you know what just comes to my mind for some reason, and I don't know why. Like, this is not something we pre-planned, everybody, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this at all. But for some reason, I'm thinking of the Guild. Felicia Day, the Guild, the little
Oh,
webs. Yeah, and it seems like it encapsulates so many of these ideas. I mean, not only is it, of course, a game about a group of people playing video games, the majority, in fact, I think, or at least half of whom are women. In fact, I think if you take all of the characters who play video games, like main substantial characters in that series, I think it's might even be predominantly women, if I'm not mistaken. I'd
okay.
have to think about that. But again, having not thought about this or researched it, but there's that part of it, and of course, then there's also the cosplay part of it, like Tinkerbella. I forget how she says her name, but they go to the big convention and she dresses up. Finds out that actually she wanted to be like a costume designer, and so she's doing all this cosplay and stuff. And just that sort of presentation of, shall we say, nerd or geek culture, but also really framed through the lens of a woman's experience, Felicia Day being primarily the person. I wonder how much that had an impact on the world of gamers and perceptions. I wonder if it did. I'm sure it did. I wonder to what extent. I wonder if that sort of
Yeah.
normalized some of these things that we're talking about. Or that may not be the right word, but
I feel like it probably validated a lot
right,
of women who felt that way and went through similar experiences.
right. Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking of that right now, like, and it's actually partly because I just watched it again recently because it's on Netflix. You can just watch the whole
Oh,
thing.
really?
It's on Netflix.
Ah,
Just
okay.
watch the whole thing. It's easy. If you have Netflix, I guess. But I went back. I've seen it now about 3 times, and I think it's actually a pretty well done story because it's all about this community ultimately, and this main character who's actually kind of going through like mental health concerns and things like this.
Mm.
But it's all again through these connections that she's made through her gaming guild, and then of course going to a convention and sort of all around this world of gaming that her life centers. She's discovering new things about herself, and I think it's a really great show, and I like that it connects to what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's me thinking aloud, by the way. I do that a lot.
No, to watch. Because I
Yeah.
know about Felicia Day, and she was still a really big part of. I would say, was one of the really big first women nerds in gaming culture and comic books, and she was even a big name in like D&D and a lot of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
So
I mean, founder of Geek and Sundry.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah, huh.
That was also around a turning point where, and then bringing this full circle with streaming, where digital content became the norm. I mean, that was a show that existed first and foremost in a digital platform, on a live streaming web. It was a web series,
Mhm.
and not live streaming, I guess, but I mean, streaming services. Um, and then even if I recall, there's in like the second to last or last season, um, Dodger, if you know oh gosh, that's not their full name, but um, they are a streamer as well. She makes a cameo as this
Hmm.
blogger or vlogger actually, who comes and is like like in everyone's face and like taking video, and then like a selfie of like what making it all sensationalist. But again, it's portraying like at that time. I mean, it's over the top characterization, but funny, and portraying that at the time, that's what people were doing. They were vlogging these big conventions. They were making content around it. They were streaming. They were recording, and they were dressing up, and they were playing video games, and they were doing all of this, and it actually was, you could make a living off of it.
Mhm.
How cool is that we've gotten?
That is,
Do you feel like cosplay for you is always, like, would you say it's a hobby? Will it always be a hobby, or do you think that it's a career path for you?
I would say it's a hobby. I've had a few opportunities where, like, I actually at Joann's fabric store, I actually used to be able to teach cosplay classes, where I taught people how to build armor, and that was amazing. But that was not the medium isn't the right word. I would no longer want to do it through them with my experiences. If the opportunity ever um, arrives again to actually be able to teach cosplay and to help people build it and understand and how to get into it, I would absolutely love to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just so many online resources now that that's how that's how I learned. I don't really see how. I mean, there's always a benefit to having a teacher and learning like that, but to having classes or anything like that, I feel like you can just kind of do anything you want online. There's not a character out there who hasn't been cosplayed, so you can always look and see how other people have done it, and
Right.
the references are out there. So for right now, it's a hobby. I don't foresee it becoming anything more than a hobby, but
Mm-hmm.
if I ever get the opportunity, I jump at it.
Might be the thing. uh I just want to real quickly go back to a couple of comments I'm seeing in chat, because I got me thinking. We're talking about some pretty heavy things, and so just to put it out there, first of all, I think um, that we've got kind of this ongoing conversation. Ginny Gravity says, not to get political, but women's bodies are policed from the day we're born, and talk about double standards. And actually, I don't know all what happened in chat, like what was said,
Mhm.
but I do know that I'm glad that people are talking about it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and just again, everyone, just like a reminder, like that exchange of ideas is totally healthy and important. And I think that's kind of what you saw here, and what
Yeah.
you're seeing with us is like just putting it out there, just kind of letting these things mull around, and we're learning. So just kind of sharing that there.
Keep in
Um,
mind through this that you're just getting one cosplayer's perspective too. Other people could have so many other different experiences than I have. This is just my personal experience in the cosplay community.
but I think it absolutely is. I mean, it's what you're saying resonates with me. Like it makes sense. So yeah. Um, and then I think, like, again, I mean, I worry about saying this comment because again, maybe we're like, I can tell there's some frustrations. Like there's
Okay.
very like, I don't worry, I'm just joking. But I can tell it was really an angry comment here, from someone I think used to be a friend of yours, Kimball Donald, who goes, "Okay, no hating Harvest Moon though."
I didn't hate on Harvest Moon. I said it's typically a more female game. No shooting, no guns, farming, and and raising cows.
I would so choose
You know,
that
things that
over Overwatch. That's my type of game right there. I spent so many hours fishing in Ocarina of Time. By the way, you got a little out of focus there.
I'll
Oh,
try.
there we go.
I'll
We're
try.
gonna get. Oh, boom! There we go. Look at the hands right there. Okay. Oh, and we're
Oh,
back. Sweet.
okay.
Cool. Awesome. Um, Ginny Gravity said, "Ladies, live your truths, and dudes too." Um, okay. And look, Kimball Donald says, "My fiance bonded over Harvest Moon." I think there was an and
Exactly.
I. See, there you go. Boom. That's it. Um, okay. So we've got about 10 minutes or so before we're going to go into just open conversations. And we're just going to respond immediately to chat. So get ready. Okay. That's going to be the free for all moment,
I'm ready.
everybody. Okay. About 10 minutes. Before we get to that, though, I have one kind of other question that I'd really like to ask you. I mean, there's so many more, but this one I think just fits with what we've been talking about. But let me ask, what is it about Zelda? How'd you get into it? Why do you like it? Why is it the best video game franchise ever made?
Okay. It's a great question. It's a great question. So I mean, I know I was just making fun of when you go into a video game store. They're like, "What, your brother get you into games?" Well, my brother got me into games.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
You could have just. Oh man.
So, so I was just a wee youngin, and
A wee
my
lass.
a wee lass, and my brothers played video games. Always loved playing Mario Party. Mario Party N64, the very first one, was my jam. Loved it. We had an N64 and we would play it all the time. And remember, here's a little throwback to when we were talking about plugging in the controller. They would just hand me a controller, but it wouldn't be plugged in. I would just think I was playing. And
Nice.
that was my first introduction to video games. Now, my neighbor across the street, her name was Jessica, and she had Ocarina of Time. And we would play Ocarina of Time together.
Nice.
And that was my very first Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when my brother got a GameCube and Wind Waker came out, that was the first game I was allowed to play.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was just, this is what it's like when I move the stick and it goes somewhere.
I can control
What's
it?
that about?
That's so
And
cool.
I would just sit on my brother's bed and he would watch me play and we would just have a blast. Then Crash Bandicoot came out. I also played all the Crash Bandicoot. That was super fun. And more Mario parties came out. And whenever my cousins and I would get all together, we would play whatever Mario Party we had. And we would just swap controllers every mini game. And we would I just have, oh, and we've got a little visitor here.
Yay!
Hello.
Oh, yay!
Um,
Yay!
okay, bud.
Here, we're gonna. Oh.
Time to close the window. No more bugs.
That's so perfect. Wait, is that is it cat butt?
Cat time.
There we go.
That was kind of my introduction of how I got into video games, and so Zelda was my very first game I got to play by myself, and I definitely acknowledge that a big part of my love of Wind Waker is nostalgia. I still think it's a great game.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that it's a great game.
Right.
But so I played Ocarina of Time. I played Wind Waker, and then I was like, okay, these are two great games and they're part of a series. I should play another one. So I played Twilight Princess, and then I played. I didn't play Majora's Mask until it came out on the 3DS, but it was the first series I got into that wasn't Crash Bandicoot, just the two games. And so that's what really got me hooked on it, and I have been hooked ever since. I love the lore of the games. I love the different settings the games are in. How they're all different links, but the stories are different, and the characters are the same at the root, but every experience is so different.
Totally. So, what's your favorite of all of the franchise?
Wind Waker.
It's still Wind Waker. And it's in part because of the nostalgia as well.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, I think that's a huge part of gaming. Like, it's got to be. I mean, it's one of the cool things. Like, when I say Secret of Mana is my favorite game of all time, do I think the franchise is the best? Do I think it's the best game ever? It's my favorite. That's what I can say. And
Yeah,
nostalgia
that's a
is a
great way to
huge
put
part.
it.
Yeah. But like I will say, I think Zelda as a franchise is without a doubt my favorite franchise. Like I just think
I
it's
mean, could you not
so
tell
good.
by the
Oh,
mask and the shield behind me?
right, exactly. I actually am embarrassed because I don't have. I last time I had my little sword, my little master sword, foam master sword. I could have like brought that out. Instead, though,
Nice.
what I can say, I do have right next to me. You might actually be able to see it. I've got this pile of amiibo. So I've been unboxing amiibo, and I've got way too many. The plan is I'm actually going to put some shelves up along above the windows here, and I'm going to just display them all. But right here, I've got a little end table, and I've got all of my Zelda and Animal Crossing amiibo.
Nice.
Check this out. If I can do it without breaking it. Check this amiibo out right here. Can you
I have that one
Isn't
too.
that so cool?
I love it. It's
It,
so cool.
it's all
I only have that
bendy.
one in the wolf link. And then
Oh,
I
the
got
wolf
this
link's
guy.
cool. Have you?
I got this one.
Oh, I love that one too. It's so good. Um, Actually, here, this one's pretty cool. This one is the. Let's see, I'll put it up here first so that people on stream can see it. But this is the rider.
Oh, that one is so
It's
cool.
so cool looking. I'll put it down here so you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, this one is awesome. But I think my favorite. I mean, I'd probably could say this for everyone, but I think this is actually my favorite. It's the little.
Oh.
It's like so cute. It's the little reboot, remake, Link's Awakening. Bless you. I just think that one's great. So anyway,
It's
I don't
really
know
cute.
why are we talking about amiibo? Oh yeah, because I've got some
Zelda.
too. There we go. Zelda. Anyway, yeah, no, I think it's just a great franchise too. Like, and
Mhm.
I think it's hard to choose a favorite for me, and not have it linked to nostalgia. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely
will
agree.
say I'm with you on that. Unfortunately, Wind Waker though kind of suffers for that because I actually didn't play Wind Waker until a long time after it had come out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I went through a period of time where I didn't play video games, and unfortunately, that was really pretty much during the GameCube era.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't play GameCube games until the Wii, and so that there was kind of that gap, and I hadn't really played Wind Waker
Mhm.
before, and so when I came back to it, I was like, oh, this is really cool, but I didn't have as much time to invest into it. I hadn't, there were other new games that had come out, so like I didn't have that nostalgia. Great game though, super good. I love it. It's so good. Like
I really, really love it.
even, and I wouldn't say Wind Waker is this, but even my least favorite Zelda game is still like better than 80% of every other video game I've ever played. Maybe
Okay.
90%.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I love Skyward Sword. And you are going to stream Skyward Sword, right?
I want to. I need to
Yeah.
figure out how.
Right. Right. Uh, I've got a spare Wii. I'll ship it.
Hey,
Next time I'm
I'm also
coming
gonna
up
need a
north.
spare captain card.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
actually, on that note, I do happen to have a suggestion for a $15 capture card.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 15.
I might need you to DM me about that
I'm
later.
gonna we'll chat about this, but for everyone out there, just so you know, like I'm trying to put together my little list of things to get streaming on a budget, and a $15 capture card. As a matter of fact, fun fact, this camera right here, this GoPro that I'm streaming through, is being captured by a $15 capture card.
Ah.
So it can be done, and it works really quite well, I would say. So yeah, we can chat about that for sure. Okay, we are. What time is it? We're at the 10 o'clock mark. That means we've got a half hour left. Let's run one more ad. Unless there's anything else you want to say on Zelda
Um,
or
let's do
cosplay
this.
or anything in general. What? Oh,
It's just all Zelda posters.
that is so cool. Wait, everyone can see that? Yeah, it's perfect. You can totally see
I
that.
got Zelda posters. I made that shield. Every single one of those prints is a Zelda print.
That's fantastic.
I just really like Zelda.
And hopefully everybody's able to see there. Yeah, of course, the Majora's Mask. That's the one that you just
Mhm.
made, right? Yeah. Oh, that is
Correct.
so cool. Um, hey, how about this, everybody? We're gonna take that quick break. We're going to do our quick just responding to chat and just talking with all of you, and then I think we're going to end the stream. At least I know I'm going to end the stream by by showing my full cosplay outfit for tonight, which is really not. That's not true. I do, although I do have my Otter Mana outfit I could probably grab, but no, I'm gonna show. I'm gonna get up and do a little dance and show off the fact that like in all good current pandemic late night shows, I am not dressed in a full suit because I don't have to. Okay, we're gonna take a moment and roll an ad, everybody.
All right.
If you are a subscriber, you can hang out and chat with us. And 60-second ad break. Boom. I cannot believe how much time has
It is
gone by.
dry. Pardon me, Butternut is needs a bit of affection here, so I'm gonna give her a treat so she leaves me alone.
Aww. Oh,
Oh,
Butternut looks
Butternut.
so cute. Yeah, just right up there. Oh, I wish I had this right now. This is great.
Claw camera. I know, girl. I know. They're just treats. You eat them all the time. Oh, you're so
Oh my
fat.
gosh. You got a lot of compliments on the shield, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could take it off the wall and bring it closer. If need
Yeah,
be. I
actually,
know,
that'd be
girl.
cool. Yeah. Do you want to grab that?
Just gotta preoccupy this beast real fast.
All right. I'll wait. I will wait. And that is our whole time. But we're just waiting just a moment. We're gonna give it just a second before we go. Just we wanna give Essie a moment here because she's gonna share with us
We're
some cool
good.
stuff. We're good. Okay.
Good.
All right. We're good. I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. So
All
Essie,
right.
you've got some stuff to show us.
Yeah. So I took the stuff off the wall. So this is kind of a little. These are some close-ups of some of the things I made. So this is the Majora's Mask you saw behind me. Here's a little bit more of a close-up, and this is
That's so
entirely made of the
amazing.
EVA foam. So this is like flexible and squishy and weighs practically nothing.
And you
Um,
painted it all by hand, like you all of
this is
the.
all hand painted. I use an airbrush for some of it.
Really? Oh man. Do you ever paint miniatures or anything like that? Or
I've always wanted to, but I never
okay,
have.
okay.
Yeah.
That's just
Um,
incredible, though. I mean, the detail on that.
so
Everybody, take a look at that. Wow.
one of my main goals with this was I wanted to make it look like it was wood.
Yeah, it does. You succeeded.
There's that.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can set there. There you go. And so this guy, this is the shield I made for that cosplay. And on the back of this, actually, there's 3 magnets
Oh
so
my
that I could
gosh.
actually put it behind my back like Captain America, and it would just snap onto my back.
Oh, are you kidding me?
It
And
was so cool.
can I also point out something about that? Like, I was expecting you to swing that around and it'd be like styrofoam on the back, like all white, unfinished, and everything. You know, I'm like, all right, wait, you're not gonna worry about the things that you don't see. And no, it's like it looks like a legitimate shield. That's amazing.
It's hard when because you actually wear like a gauntlet in cosplay, so it doesn't
Okay.
really fit through here very well.
Oh, okay.
Um, typically, I just had it on my back. So,
Right.
and then because as you know, if you play Breath of the Wild, Link typically wears like a cape, like a hood with a cape on it.
Right.
So this would actually go through the cape, so you couldn't see the magnets on either
Oh,
part.
nice.
So it would just snap on, and these magnets are strong. It
That
stayed on the
is
entire time.
so cool.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at this too. That's amazing. Okay, I'm pumped. All right. Well, are you ready? Let's dive into some chat here that we've got. So we've got a lot of wows and dudes and woes, and it looks great, Essie, and all kinds of stuff like that. And Mr. H says that shield is like 100% cooler now. David Kimball agrees.
It's actually a video on my
Amazing.
Instagram of it snapping onto my back if you want to see what that actually looks like too.
Ooh, okay, there you go. Shout outs for the Instagram. Well, and definitely check out in the little um, banner that's scrolling across. Yep, other side, other side. There we go. Right there. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Again, great texturing and weathering, Dash says. Oh my
Guys, I
gosh.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Memory Martin saying, "Ooh, what are we grabbing?" Yes, the shield and the mask. I love it, Memory Martin. You want to field this one? Got a question directed for you
Yeah.
from Donnie. Do you have chat open? I think you said you were going to get chat open.
That looks like someone else on Reddit who made it. I think you stole it. You see, Donnie. You see, I don't have a witty remark for you.
I will not validate your comment with a response.
Are you going to play The Legend of Zelda, your mom? Man, the Kimball brothers are out here. Just
Do we need to get a ban in here? Come on. Like, come on, Kimballs. Get it together. Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like every interview show needs an antagonist. I don't think any interview should have should have an antagonist.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think this is necessary. But then again, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Ooh, are you excited about Crash Bandicoot 4? It's about time, since you mentioned Crash
I
earlier.
haven't heard much about it, to be honest. I've tried to keep myself as in the just out of the know as possible.
Right. Like you don't want to know any details about the game itself, just that it exists
really,
and that's
no.
enough you need to know. Cool.
And the release day.
I mean, I'm kind of with you there too. Like there's some games I just don't feel like I need to worry about because I know I'm going to get it. And that's one. I'm hoping it comes for Switch though. That's all I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jenny, thank you for the bits, by the way. Oh my gosh. Actually, Jenny, I believe that the bit emotes are now working. At least they've been working for me, which is nice. I can now use the Art of M Wow, which is like my favorite because it kind of looks like this right here in the game. Super. Meanwhile, Banjo fans still waiting.
Where's the Master Sword? Ginny, it's currently upstairs in multiple pieces.
Oh, wait. Why?
It's 3D printed and it broke. The Master Sword
Oh.
broke. So I need to. It needs a little bit of fixing.
Okay. Now, do you 3D print in your home, or do you have like a maker lab? Okay.
I have
Do you go to make a
person
maker
who
studio?
owns many 3D printers, so I just have to buy the
Okay.
filament, the actual
Right.
the plastic for the 3D printer, and then he just makes it for me.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
That's fantastic. I know there's a lot of these maker spots that are opening up, and I know there's a few in kind of the area around where you live. And I wanted to make use of those all the time, and then we moved. But oh well. Shoot. All right. I just checked out your Insta and the shield on the back, and it is way cooler than you described it. Lady Professor says.
I am very proud of how it connects. It was very difficult to get it to work, so I appreciate all the love for it.
That is fantastic. That is a engineering feat, because that's not just costume. That's actually, how do you make this do the thing I want it to do? Like,
Exactly. The main thing is, okay, so I'm still going to be walking around a convention like this. How do I make it so that I can still have a normal day and actually have fun and not have to carry this huge shield on my arm and actually get it out of the way and have two hands?
right.
Same thing as when you have armor and you have gloves on. Like, I want to be able to use my phone, so making sure that you get like the gloves that have like the touch sensitivity.
Oh, yeah.
Where am I going to put my car keys?
Oh,
Where do I
yeah.
put my debit card? Where do I put my ID?
So where do you put those
It's the thing.
things?
It's a secret.
It's a secret. Okay.
Every cosplay has a pouch in it somewhere.
Really? Oh, that's so cool. That is awesome. Lady Professor says, especially through all that fabric, what is the weight hold on those magnets?
15 pounds. Wait, no. There's 3 magnets. I got them off of Amazon. So there's 3 on the back of the actual breastplate, and then there's 3 on the shield. So I don't know, but I danced around with that shield on my back, and I just shook, and I had like people bump into me. Because
Oh
at cons, you're
man.
going to get bumped into.
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure it wouldn't slide off, and it would just snap straight back into place if anything
Okay.
happened to it. So I don't know the weight, but it was strong.
And if the shield itself is so lightweight, that probably helps too.
Oh, it's so weight. It's
Yeah.
practically a frisbee. I could throw the thing across the room.
I want to see that. Well, no, I don't. But I want to. I want a. I want a Hylian
You
shield.
asked.
Okay,
All right,
we're doing it.
got it. It's a frisbee. All
Please,
right, let's
I hope
go.
it doesn't break. Wow,
Well,
that's actually that looked way lighter than I even expected it to be. Like it
it's
floated, it hovered down. That's actually
it defied gravity.
yeah.
I mean, same with Majora's Mask. This thing is just like,
Oh my! I cannot believe that you're like. I'm looking at these from what you've shown me, and I'm like, I would pay hundreds of dollars to have that in my house, and you're just like flinging it like a frisbee.
weight
Yeah.
that it can't damage itself.
That's
It's just practically it's foam. It's
Yeah.
so lightweight.
That's amazing. Hey, Jenny says new move for Link in Breath of the Wild 2.
Throwing the sword, the shield like Captain America.
Oh,
I'd be
that'd
there
be
for
great.
it.
Totally. Hey, speaking of Captain America, how about that amazing little intro video that David Kimball posted? I heard you had a big hand in that, by the way.
It is a lot. I wouldn't say I had a big hand
Okay.
in. I went
so
through
cool.
everybody's VODs and their clips and just sent him the best ones.
I mean, that's huge right there. Oh my gosh. But yes, it is amazing. Everybody, check out Family Friendly Live. By the way, just shameless plug, and check out the cool video that just went up. That's play on the Marvel opener. It's pretty cool. Lady Professor says to let's see, Mr. H says something. Professor over here, like, what is the density of this cloth weave? And then Lady Professor says, Mr. H, I just respect her craft. That is some serious work she has done.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that's legit. Also, what is the density of this cloth weave? Fantastic. Mr. H, that was a good one.
As a cosplayer, what's your social security number? Donnie, add it again.
Oh, man. Donald says, Mana, what's your favorite question you've asked Essie? I know what it is. Would you come on Isle Man Alive? And when she said yes, that was awesome.
And that was my favorite answer.
Yay! That was, but seriously, I mean, I'm super grateful because, I mean, like we had talked about before actually starting this, I mean, this is the second time I'm doing this. This is the first family-friendly live streamer that's on the show. This is a great opportunity for me to connect more with like the team that I'm now part of, and I just feel honored to be a part of it. And yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was great. It just everything connected, and all the people. I feel like we just are very similar in so many ways, and it's just such a great fit. So glad to get to know you more and be a part of your streams and the community. And as Donald says, it's been all downhill after that. Oh, man.
It's been all downhill after that.
Yep.
After your whole long, heartfelt spiel. Oh, man, Don.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, man. Let's see. Trying to scroll through and see if any other questions were asked.
David asks if you could say one swear word, what would it be? That face says everything.
No, my face says that because I swear he's asked me that before.
Man.
I have the ability to say any of them I want to. I just don't want to. That's the thing.
That's perfect. I mean, that's it. That's it. By the way, a belated good night to Hamabe Boy. Let's see here. What else do we have? Unfortunately, because of the setup tonight, I didn't have the ability to see highlighted messages. So if I missed highlighted, which I know I did, I do apologize for that. Fraud9, to whoever made the bodies comment, literally everyone's bodies are policed. The world would not be a very fun place if I were allowed to assault every person that made me upset. I was like, oh, that's just a real talk comment there, but I want to just throw that out there because it's one of the few I saw from Fraud there.
Hey.
That's it. It's interesting point. Um, I mean, I feel like we actually we got into some good topics.
Yeah.
Like,
We've got a few highlighted messages
okay,
that I can see on my
you can see?
side.
Oh, please.
Um, Jack asks, what individual piece took you the most amount of time for a costume?
Ooh, yeah.
Um, and I would have to say I have a 3D printed mace for my Brigitte cosplay. And that was, I think, 9 different 3D printed pieces. And if you've ever seen something 3D printed, it's not smooth right off the bat.
Right.
You have to do hours, hours, and hours of sanding, and then priming, and then painting, and then assembling. And it ended up being around, I think it was like 10 pounds. And it was so heavy. And that took hours of trying to figure out how to get it to work. So that would definitely be the piece that took me the longest to do.
Right.
Oh man, Jack, you asked some wonderful questions.
Oh, I know. Hey, here's one actually from not Jack for a second.
Mhm.
David Kimball, what is the cringiest Reddit comment that you've ever read on one of your posts?
Cringiest?
Yeah. Let's go full
I
on
have to go
cringe here.
search for that one. But I can say my favorite one. My favorite one I ever got was it was an insult. And it made me laugh so hard that I'm just gonna type it out because you need to understand the spelling of it.
Okay. Gotta see this here.
That was it. It just said, your head fat. And it made me laugh so hard. And I got such joy out of that
Really?
comment.
Your head fat.
Because out of this flood of either like, wow, this is phenomenal, the utter artistry, and all these other like absolutely crude insults, and then just the in between the your head fat.
Your head fat. You are head fat.
It just made me laugh so hard.
That is, yeah. I mean, don't you just love the hiding behind the anonymity of the internet?
Oh,
Like, can you imagine just going up to a person though and just being like, "You are head fat."
head fat. Your head fat.
Oh my gosh. It reminds me though, when like, sorry, but random. So I worked with a lot of teenagers, and I was at an event, and like, this is, I forget how many years, not that many years back, but like, for the first time in my life, you know, I had started kind of like combing my hair back again, and started noticing, like, I actually kind of was noticing like a little bit of just like my hairline going up a little bit more, like that. I didn't really think anything of it, but I was noticing that, right? But I was like, well, it's not really noticeable. And this teenager just comes up to me and goes, "You're losing your hair." I was just like, "Oh, I'm getting old." Like, it was just that moment of,
Like a kid.
yeah. Wait, what?
Are they like a teenager or were they like a kid? Because I know
Like,
like
they're
some
like a
smaller
teenager.
kids just like zero filter.
Oh no, but like, this was a teenager. This was like someone who I
Oh,
think was maybe like a junior or senior in high school. Yeah. But just like with and it was like, "Oh, why would that be upsetting to you?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good point." Like, but I was like, I mean, it's those weird comments that sometimes people feel compelled to share, right?
Yeah.
When you're out there, and so, I mean, and I'm not anywhere near as much, you know, because I don't, I mean, I'm not like, you know, modeling clothes and doing, you know, and cosplay and things like that. But even just as a streamer, like, there's little things where you start getting a little self-conscious. Hey, I'll throw it out there. Before the stream, Essie and I were talking a little bit about the fact that actually, on occasion, I've worn makeup on stream. Because I legitimately, I'm like, "Miss Manna, can you help?" Because I'll get like maybe a little blemish or like a little pimple or something. And I'm like, "Could you please?" And she'll help me, and she'll get out all her makeup, and I'll get little, whatever it's called, concealer and stuff like that. And yeah, What were you saying? You said something interesting about that too, Essie, when I was
I
sharing
was
that.
saying that I think there needs to be a normalization of of men that I think they should be allowed to wear makeup. It shouldn't be as taboo as it is. If a man has a pimple on his face and is insecure about it, I don't think that there should be anything wrong with covering up that pimple. If anything, it shows a like wow, they care about their appearance and they care about their presentation. And if anything, hygienic isn't the right word, but it's the same thing as like, oh wow, his hair looks really nice, or wow, he smells really good. He must care about his hygiene. It's
Hmm.
the same way as like, oh wow, he cares about his appearance and covers that up. And I just think it's so silly that men are like, oh no, just for girls, I don't want to seem unmasculine by putting on a skin color on top of a red part on my face. I just it's so dumb that men are so insecure about it.
Well, there we go. Look at me. I'm bucking trends all over here. So stand up for makeup on men.
Exactly. I'm rioting.
Oh my gosh. Um, so here's a question. Dash Magnum from Dash Magnum. If a hypothetical someone wanted to sound intelligent, complimenting someone's cosplay, what is the best kind of compliment to use?
I would say notice something that seems like a lot of work was put into it. If you know the
Mm,
character, maybe point out the wow, I can't believe you added insert specific thing here. Or um or just honestly compliment the things that you think the cosplayer would think nobody would notice. That was a lot of back and forth. You think, I think, you think, but look at that, and go, that piece right there seemed like it was really, really hard to make. And compliment that because the silliest little side thing that the the stitching on a pouch on a belt, sometimes that can be more hours spent than a humongous actual piece of armor.
that
So
makes
just
sense.
out the small little things that the picture doesn't even show.
Right.
That there's actually a back to that cosplay too that you don't even get to see.
Right.
Those comments have meant the world to me. That wow, I can't believe
Yes.
you included this and the that piece in itself that looks phenomenal. Those ones really stick with me, and I feel like those I feel appreciated with those
Mhm.
comments.
That's awesome. That's really helpful. Just, I guess maybe appreciating the artistry. I would imagine maybe that also kind of coincides with not making it about like not making it a thinly veiled attempt to make like a comment about one's personal beauty. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
that's a big one.
yeah,
It is very nice when I personally I care about accuracy in cosplay, so I just want to cosplay characters that I feel like I can pull off.
mhm,
Um, so that that counts a lot for me, but a lot of people dismiss me because I look like the character.
mm,
Or oh, the character was already a redhead, so you don't have to wear a wig. You're immediately less effort than another person,
hmm,
which is just ridiculous.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, there's just some really common trends that I've noticed in a lot of comments of people either giving unwanted advice, saying, "Oh, you could have done this better." Like, "Oh, really? Then you go try to make it, buddy.
yeah,
I'm sure you could do it. Go for it." A lot of unwanted advice. A lot of people trying to call out fake editing and like, "Oh, that's photoshopped." Like, I
okay,
mean, I
yeah,
have progress photos of me making it, but I mean, okay, go off, I guess. Like,
right,
I have work in progress photos.
right,
Um, and a lot of people putting down other cosplayers trying to raise me up when in the end it puts both of us down.
right, yeah. It ends up, yeah, not being good for anybody, right? Um,
Exactly.
yeah, that makes sense. Uh, I think when in doubt, I would assume don't comment uh, unless you actually have something like that is just about, again, like how it's come together, like the costume and stuff like that. I would imagine, because again, it's sort of going to like that whole thing of then you're entering into like, oh my gosh, like you're a girl and you're into this video games kind of thing, or like, like you said, oh, it's just because of your appearance that you're playing that character. Well, like
Yeah.
that's got to be a part of it. It's like it's why people cast for plays and things like that. Like you're going, you're not.
Keep in mind, cosplayers, we have huge circle contact lenses in, fake eyelashes. You think the
Right,
scar on my face is real? Like, the
right,
amount of makeup that gets put on
right.
is astronomical,
Yeah,
and people still be like, "Oh, wow, it's just because you look like this." Like, buddy, I didn't wake up looking like that. There was a lot of effort going into the costume
right,
and the wig styling and the makeup and making it look like I'm a character.
right.
That this I'm not supposed to look like me. That's the whole point of this.
Mm-hmm. David Kimball says, I don't observe the existence of makeup. It's against my religion.
Um, we're gonna change that, David. We're gonna do a goal on your stream, a makeup stream
Hey, I just
starring
resubbed
at
now. Boom.
Get ready.
I resubbed just the other day. I'll keep that going. Let's see. The essielessie David Kimball makeover. Mervyn Fluffykins, welcome on in, by the way. Oh my gosh. Also, Ginny points out
Hey.
something good. Convincing photoshopping is a skill in itself. So that's true too.
The photo I have of the Legend of Zelda armor with the Sheikah Tower in the background
Mhm.
and the forest and stuff. That was my very first attempt at doing I forgot what they're called, a composite
Mm-hmm.
on Photoshop, and that was. I'm pretty proud of how that turned out, but honestly, convincing Photoshop is that it's hard to pull off and make it
Right.
actually look natural.
Yeah, and actually, I was going to comment on that, and I didn't. I'm sorry, but that is an impressive image because with the tower in the background and everything, like it really does look like you're there. And I've seen some images where it's maybe a little less convincing, but I think the way you handled it, worked out really well.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. David Kimball says, Mervyn Fluffykins, thank you for doing what should have happened a long time ago. I don't know what that is referencing, though. The smile.
I think it's the emote, the calling the insane asylum. The
Oh,
classic
okay.
David
Okay, gotcha.
emote.
There we go. There we go.
Yep,
That's,
okay.
yep.
Donnie confirms.
Okay. Gotcha.
Donnie David, actually, so.
Okay. Fair enough. Mary Martin says, I've had people do that with my art, claiming I'm tracing my references when I'm literally posting every base sketch like every other hour.
Yep.
Yep.
Isn't that insane? People just, I don't know why people want to feel so superior by calling out people's flaws in their art or making them seem less valid in the effort they've put in. I don't understand why it's such common practice.
I have a couple of theories.
Go for it.
I think a lot of it comes down to feelings of personal inadequacy when it comes to art and creativity. In fact, I would probably say that's the root for people who are going to make a comment like that, attacking someone else's creativity, because I have never once come across a, just consummate artist is just like amazing at what they do that like goes to someone who's learning and starting and goes, come on, jeez, it's just, that's awful. I mean, you didn't even, like you didn't even blend your paints correctly, or, like that's not what someone who's good at their craft typically wants to do. They want to share with others. But when you feel like, why can't I do that? You're looking for ways to poke holes in something someone else has done so that you feel a little bit better about what you're capable of. But I think that comes back to something else. I think it comes back to we've done a really poor job of educating that art and creative endeavors can be learned and it takes practice. And I think your story highlights that. Like you thought, I want to do this. And you dove in without necessarily the experience, but you learned all these skills and things and you kept at it. But sometimes people just stop at, I'm not gifted that way. That I wasn't born with that talent. I'm clearly not talented that way. But like we do ourselves this disservice. It's not like something just, sometimes people are start out with a little bit of a head start. But generally speaking, that only goes so far. And if you only rely on that, you're never going to get to that, level that masters get to. So,
You can't compare yourself with somebody who's been doing something for years.
yeah, it takes
Yep,
practice. You're not going to
absolutely.
play 11 days of Ring Fit Adventure and suddenly be like this hulking bodybuilder. And I know because
I
I've
know.
played 11 days of Ring Fit.
Yeah.
The only muscle that's gotten bigger is that giant one where my abs are supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be. Yeah. Ginny says, preach. It's not an innate talent we're born with. It's something we put years into honing, right? And even after years of working at it, we can still make something ugly.
I think there is something to say about that too, though. There is already having the um don't get me wrong, there's absolutely effort that gets put into art, whether you have a singing voice, learning an instrument, but there are just some people who do pick up things faster
For sure.
and who do have more of an eye for
Yep.
things and that kind of stuff. Whereas somebody could be phenomenal at HTML and coding,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of comes naturally, the math and all that just comes naturally to them. But for me, I could have to work 10 times harder to get to the point where they got in 1 year.
Right. Right.
So don't get me wrong, there's absolutely tons of effort that gets put in, but some people are just more
Inclined
prone
towards
to
certain
learn
things.
things faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. There's some kind of balance there. I actually feel like I heard some research on this a little while back, and I have to go back and revisit it. Now you've got me curious, but it was actually specifically about like, how much is learned and how much is sort of just something
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
skill you're born with. So, and I think that maybe the biggest takeaway I took from that, because I don't remember much else about it though, was that we do concentrate on the fact that, if we don't have it, it's because we weren't born with it, and we leave it at that instead of thinking like, no, like apply yourself, practice it, put the effort. If it's something you're passionate about, do it, David says HTML, CSS, JS is way less math and more logic based, by the way. Not to take away from your point though, Esther. I feel like I had to say it that way.
I don't even know what that means, David. So you're already steps ahead of me.
It's logic based.
Sorry. Actually, HTML, CSS, and JS are more logic based.
It's more logic.
Sorry, David.
So, yeah. If you really want to know the maths, it's about how we scale our Melee introduction videos.
Can we change the title? This is now the David B. Kimball bullying stream.
I'm so sorry. I feel horrible. I feel like David, I love you, man. I love you so much. You're the best. Oh my gosh. Wait, am I bullying you guys or are you bullying me?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You've got it.
All you want, he needs it.
Retro Edition, hello, Retro Edition. Hi to you, my friend. Everyone developed talent. There we go. Oh, I like that. Retro Edition, by the way, is a friend that I met at a convention. So it's how appropriate is that? Yeah.
Really?
I'm assuming you probably met some great friends through conventions, huh?
Oh, that's every friend I currently have. I have somehow met because of a convention.
Nice.
Whether it was meeting a friend who then introduced me to another friend, or even social media, anything like that. The root of all of it is a convention.
There you go. I mean, this has been something that has been an important part of your life, I can tell. And thank you so much for sharing this with all of us tonight. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to get to know you a little bit more and to hear some of your story and just learn about what makes you tick and why you're doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was such a blast, and I cannot believe how fast time flew.
I know. I feel like it's time to do another one of these. So we'll have to work on our collaboration. When's our next collaboration going to be?
When you go ahead and fly out to the Pacific Northwest, and we can both bully David in real life. How does
Ooh,
that sound?
I'll be on my way. I'll get my wings. um, but yeah, that's the nice thing, though. I mean, I'm already in the Pacific Northwest. I'm just a little further south. I'll be on my way. I hit the road. Um, you know what? I did promise something.
Oh, oh,
I promised something. Do you want to show off? Do you want to like? Do we make this official?
we
Well,
can.
okay, let's do it. All right,
Okay.
earphones off. But
Oh gosh.
hey,
Penguin pants. Wait, I gotta scoot over this way for you to see me. There you go.
wait.
We're
I can hear
Look
you
at
now.
us. Pinnacle of fashion.
Oh, totally, totally. I love it. So I actually matched my pajama bottoms to my tie tonight, which
That's
is that is COVID fashion right there, is what that is. Oh, that was amazing. Um, so there we go. And match the undershirt too. That's true. One of these days, just as a by way of a little aside, actually, if I have any kind of quote cosplay character, it would be my it's the other mana or otter mana. I have an otter mana or otter onesie. So for
okay.
special occasions, I bust that out and I will stream or play or play games, do videos or whatever is dressed as an otter. So one of these days you're gonna have to see it. Maybe on that in-person collab, I'll bring that. I'll bring otter mana.
I mean, I've got a one. I have two onesies, so we can make this happen.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. It's happening. It's
I love
happening.
it. I love it. I love it.
Calendar.
We'll get
Don't know what
David
day.
and Donald and yeah. Perfect. Hey, before we go, oh my gosh, I don't know why for some reason the game keeps freezing. I'm gonna go ahead and just fix that for what it's worth. But before we go, how can people find you?
You can either find me at twitch.tv/essielessie, ESSIELESSIE, or you can find me on Instagram. That's where I typically post all of my cosplay photos. That's ESSI dot, then the word cosplay. And on Twitter, take that, but backwards cosplay, ESSI.
Boom. Not confusing at all.
Not at all. Gotta love that brand consistency.
Exactly. Just following David's footsteps.
Oh gosh, I gotta delete all the icons on my desktop for you just saying that.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, anything else that you want to say? I think we'll wrap this up. What I've decided is I don't typically rate on these types of things because I feel like it just makes more sense for us to kind of end naturally and end the thing. But I will just encourage everybody, maybe go out there, find another family-friendly live streamer, or also check out anyone who's streaming under the family-friendly tag, who may be streaming for 0,
Matt
1,
like it.
2 people. You might like what you get. You might really get to meet a new cool person. You might even encourage that person eventually to join the team. Who knows? But go and make somebody's day, just like we talked about when you're starting streaming and nobody's there. That's my encouragement to you. If you're not done with Twitch tonight, go and find someone and make their day. Essie, any last words? Any shout outs? Any people you want to mention? Honorable mentions? Tags
Thank you all for
for...
being here. This was wonderful. You guys ask phenomenal questions, and I'm happy to get to know you guys a little bit better. Mana seems to have just created such a wonderful community, and you guys seem to be a big part of it. And I'm happy I was able to guest and tell you guys a little bit more about myself.
Yay! Thank you so much. All right. Well, with that, everybody, have a wonderful night. Do good. Be well. Stay safe. And stay healthy. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. I feel like saying something like, Oh Man Alive, brought to you by your friendly friends at twitch.tv/artofmana/essielessie. For more great content, tune in next week for the adventures of Art of Mana, driving his Manamobile. and stream.